At the conference in New York about a nuclear-free world, we met Beth Lamont, and we had some common connections through promoting enduring peace. Maybe you could talk about that.
All right. Oh,
I'll
well,
hold it.
okay, thank you. Well, I'm just so delighted to find you and to know that you are still involved. I mean, this is so essential. I first learned about promoting enduring peace from Corliss Lamont. I came to interview him because he's the famous author of Philosophy of Humanism, and I was so admiring of him. And I had my great big camera on my shoulder, and he gave me a very, very nice speech. And then he invited me to dinner, and we got to be partners at that point. And the very
What year is this?
This was 84, 1984. And then he said, dear, every year I get invited to go on the Volga Peace Cruise, and that's by promoting enduring peace, a group in Connecticut. And he says, they always invite me to go, but I just can't do it. Why don't you go? Woo! All right. This sounds like a wonderful opportunity. And so there I was getting ready to go. I had my great big camera. This was in the olden days, electronically. Great big heavy deck across my shoulders and big camera. But I put a what do you call it, a sandwich board front and back, and this was 4th of July, and I was walking in Central Park, and I said, would you like to send a message? I'm going to the Soviet Union, would you like to send a message? And so many people stopped. They were having picnics in the park and all, and so many people were inspired by this. Oh, go there and tell them we are not the enemy, that we love you, your people, your history, all the good works that you do. And remember, we were partners in World War II, and so many lovely comments. And I got this all recorded, voices of the people of New York. And then to meet Alice and Howard Fraser, to go on that. We were on the Alexander Pushkin, and this was so neat. We flew into, what was it? Something on Don.
Rostov-on-Don.
Rostov-on-Don, that was it. And then we boarded the ship, and the ship it had such wonderful people on it, and we were having communication with each other. But then at all the docks coming, I think you go up the Volga, don't you?
I wouldn't. I never went on this.
Yeah, I think you go up toward a northern port, Leningrad, and but pioneers would come down with their little scarves and like all school children and sing, and we would talk about peace and nuclear disarmament and all of those things. And luckily, our leaders weren't talking to each other.
I mean, it's interesting here. We're talking about nuclear weapons. I mean, 84, that's the height of terror. We another time we almost went, Reagan and those folks.
Right, yeah. Well, it's just so amazing. And I felt sorry for Gorbachev because we learned, we were on the beautiful plaza, and everything was so peaceful there. But I understood that there were so many, maybe youngsters chomping at the bit, wanting things, material things, and wanting to make changes, and then the older people on pension and all that had been through hell, saying, let's hold on for stability. And so he was in a position almost like Barack Obama, I think. I went to a meeting recently. It was honoring Lynn Stewart, the lawyer. And she was incarcerated. They accused her of aiding terrorism for making a press announcement. And so many people there at that meeting, I assumed they were all friends and peace people. And somebody said something derogatory. They got up to the mic and said something derogatory about how Barack Obama has failed us, and people were cheering. What? This is so worrisome. He inherited 2 wars, a bad economy, As a matter of fact, I even said when he got elected that it was like he was being airlifted onto the Titanic just before, it was doomed.
Could you tell us a bit about Corliss Lamont? I think a lot of people today may not know the name.
Yes, yes. Well, it's so amazing. He was born in 1902, and his father was a partner of J. Pierpont Morgan himself. That's Thomas William Lamont. And he was quite a liberal. And Corliss learned at the family dining table the controversy about wages and unions and things like that, and business getting shut down. And he would say, "Dad, that's not fair. That's not fair." And he would get the, normal, "Well, son, that's the way it is with the capitalist economic system." And he'd keep saying, and all his life, he was focused on that this is not fair. And he was dedicated, as I am now, to trying to humanize the inhumane capitalist economic system whereby people and the planet are of more value than the making of profits.
What were some of his books?
He wrote Philosophy of Humanism, Illusion of Immortality. That was his master's thesis, I think. It was exploration of immortality, all the ancient writings that had to do with, and he was convinced that although, a religion can do very good things and do humanitarian things and comfort people. My own mother said, "You can't talk me out of it. I've been a good person all my life. I'm earning my reward," and all I can do is say, because it's comforting to believe that you can be with your loved ones again. And Corliss, finally, when he printed his master's thesis, he turned the title around, Illusion of Immortality, thinking that the promise of a hereafter really prevents people from doing their best, to work for peace on earth, the only life we know that we have, and that we can have the good life here if people are respected. And,
Thank you so much for this.
okay.
I want to take away time from your lunch.
Oh, lunch, munch, who cares? But I'm taking you away from the lunch. But I think that we can, with enough people power. I did a wedding recently, a couple from the Ukraine, and the bride had in her hand this magic gadget, the cell phone, and it had Skype on it. And her parents, her father they were in the Ukraine, actually on the other side of the world, and her father was giving the bride away, the mother giving her blessing. And, it was just such an exciting moment thinking, we're Earth people. We are all human, and this was so inspiring. We can gather enough people power, enough momentum now to make change. I do believe that we can. I would like to help create capitalism with a conscience. Is that an oxymoron?
Could be. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for promoting enduring peace. We will someday have enduring peace. Thank you.